God, these things are fast! Up here! I got this! Jump! Get it off! Get it off! All right, you're clear.
Huh? Yeah.
How about me?
Turn around. Are you good?
Hey, Sim.
Hi, it's David.
And we're with the Fridays.
We're back again. The trilogy of Uncharted.
What the nani?
Welcome to another episode of With the Fridays. Woo! As today we are going through Uncharted 3. Actually, David will be going through Uncharted 3, continuing our series of the Uncharted reviews, solo reviews. Today's no exception. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. So David, we're gonna get right into it. So,
Okay.
Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception is an action-adventure third-person shooter and the sequel to Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. It was released on November 1st, 2011 for NA for PlayStation 3, and on October 7th, 2015 onto the PS4. The main plot of the game involves Nate, Drake, and Victor Sullivan trying to find the legendary Atlantis of the Sands. Of course, similar to the other Uncharted games, it offers more platforming, more third-person shooter elements with even more guns, more treasures, more speedruns, and cooler mods and skins available. The review will be based on the platform PS4 in the Nathan Drake collection. Multiplayer was not played during this review. Alright, David, let's get on with the review.
So, again, it's going to sound very similar, but I would say, so far, based on this review, I would say Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception is one of my favorite stories so far in the Uncharted series. The reason being, it just feels like more of a Mission Impossible action vibe movie. There's just so much suspense that I couldn't handle. And the fact that Naughty Dog did so well integrating interesting flashbacks and it's like the whole transition of the whole story just works really well. Specifically the story for me as a fan base is that it really filled in the missing plot of Nathan Drake's story life. So you're just like, okay, how did Nathan and Sully met? And to tell you this game actually answers the question of how Nathan actually got his ring that he wears around his neck, and how he actually made Sullivan or Sully, and how they started their kind of adventures together. Kind of thing. So it was nice to see, like, hey, there's a younger Drake, and of course Naughty Dog did really well to make you play the younger version of Nathan Drake. So the story itself, it's just really good at filling the missing plot holes of the whole franchise of the game. Again, Naughty Dog did not disappoint me at all by adding more action scenes, more suspense scenes. It's almost like a Michael Bay movie where it's just endless explosion, but to be fair, these explosions are more meaningful and more logical compared to Michael Bay, where it's just randomness. But bringing out new characters like Cutter was really interesting because you would always assume like, oh, this is just like Uncharted 3 character. It doesn't really mean anything to anything else. They're just kind of side. But again, Naughty Dog really put so much in depth of a new character named Cutter, for example. Me, bald, but shaved. He's a little shaved, but he's bald. And you found out he's a really great friend of Nathan Drake, and he actually contributes to the group as well. Again, I don't know why, but Naughty Dog loves putting Elena out of the picture at first. So you're like, whoa, where'd she go again, kind of thing. But more Chloe, so it makes me wonder, does Naughty Dog really likes Chloe than Elena Fisher? I don't know. You guys can comment down below who are you more a fan of, Elena or Chloe? Because Chloe has her own game, but we're not going to talk about that game. But yeah, essentially, the game is just more personal. It just more derives onto the two main characters that started all of the whole franchise. So it was really nice to see that another story that came up with more adventures and more filling in the blanks. So I would say the story is really well done, and probably one of the masterpieces so far based on this review. I haven't played number 4 yet, but so far.
Nice.
So coming down to the story, like that's good. Gameplay as well, very similar, and you're like, okay, I'll get Naughty Dog beats the gameplay of Uncharted 2, where Uncharted 2 gameplay was really good. Well, they did it again. I don't know how, but they definitely made improvements. I don't know. I guess they've been reading a lot of reviewers or fan base or saying like, hey, they hate this part of the game, and now Naughty's like, sure, we'll fix that kind of thing. So definitely they improved more on the gunfights. There's still glitches, as I mentioned in Uncharted 2, but they're minimal. Not enough to annoy the crap out of me. But they just improved the gameplay function, somewhat more snipering, as well as they really forced the players to only use melee fight tactics and more stealth level tactics, as most of the time Uncharted is kind of known for their like first third-person shooter, but they really force you to be like, hey, you got no guns in this scene or this level, you got to use your fists. So they really force you to punch, dodge, and then finish your execution combo. Of course, once they add that, like forcing you, then they add more annoying minions. Like literally every time I play this game, it's like every level I go to, you're like, hey, all right, I'll kill these guys. They have no armor. Easy, shoot. All right. Oh, look, this guy has an armor on his chest. Okay, not too bad. I got a AK-47. Boom. Hey, by the way, this guy has a sniper and a rocket launcher. You're like, oh crap, what do I do? So, that's the kind of little annoying part, is where these new minions, where they're super OP, it's just, I'm just gotta say, you're just gonna hate them using shotguns. Like most of the time, my death scenes are just based on one guy coming behind me and shooting me in the back, and it's instant death. And you're like, I didn't even see that coming. So, but however, the cinematic scenes in this game is just amazing, because they're not just cinematic scenes. They're more of interactive cinematics, not like Man of Medan interactive. It's like you get to play the scene kind of thing. So Naughty Dog did really well in that transition from like normal gameplay to like a cinematic interactive scene, where you actually have to control and aim and like interact to all of the surrounding of your environment. So having that said, this really made my heart rate went up. It just got so intense when this scene comes up, where you're like, oh shoot, I gotta jump over a cliff, but you're like, wait, am I watching a cutscene or am I actually playing? So the only way you know how is just move your analog stick and see what happens. And most of the time I've been doing that, and most of the time I've been playing the scene. So it really makes you feel like you're a, you know, like a crazy acrobatic climber and shooter kind of guy. So it really makes the game very unique and more fun. What I really like about the Uncharted game so far is the it's kind of like the Crash Bandicoot thing, you know how you're running towards the camera. So they add a lot of those scenes where you're like, okay, there's like this semi truck trying to run you over. So they add more of those kind of scenes where you're like, oh, gotta run, gotta dodge. So they did really well on that. And the reason why I keep talking about this, because this whole game of Drake's Deception is literally that. Like, there's some like calm, nice scene where you're like, okay, there's this person, or wow, look at this new environment in a cave or outside in the desert. But most of the time, it's just like, no, something's gonna happen. There's always a twist that's gonna happen. You're like mentally preparing yourself, like, okay, something's like gonna blow up, or some crazy thing's gonna happen, or there's something you have to run for. So, again, the whole gameplay was all about that. I noticed, I forgot to mention my other 2 reviews, that they did a lot of mods and skins for your characters. So for example, like there's a skin where you can play like Uncharted 2 Drake's outfit in Uncharted 3, or his other outfits, which I thought was pretty cool. And the way to get these outfits, you kind of do these achievements, or when you beat this certain part of the level. For me, I didn't really go nuts, but I did see on Google where you can get like those gigantic head mods, where all their heads are just big and their bodies are just tiny. So there's like those funny mods. So yeah, if you're into those skin and mod, by all means, like Uncharted gives you that opportunity. And as well as speed round levels, just kind of rush and get the game, finish the game as quick as possible. Also add that, but I never got the chance to play it because I was more into the story campaign. So there's that. But again, Naughty Dog is really good at, I guess, listening to reviews and noticing the flaws of the previous game and just like, you know what, let's improve this and let's improve that. So again, that's the gameplay for Uncharted 3 of Drake's Deception. And then coming up to the graphics, well, it's still PS3 but enhanced in PS4, so not too crazy, but I would say still improved by how sharp the character designs, their hair, their outfits, as well as the environment you're in, of the city or the landscape. Very, very clean, bright, and dark colors that fits to the scene where you feel like you're actually in, for example, India, or you're actually in the desert, or you can feel the hot radiating sun shining on you kind of feel. Like, that's how good the graphics is. From my understanding of this stereoscopic 3D effect that Tim mentioned, I learned that this was more like how to make the levels more 3D effect. So for example, like there's a boat level scene, there's like a boat graveyard, there's just a bunch of boats all around, and there's water. Again, the graphic looks beautiful, amazing, and the 3Dness just really makes it so immersive. But then I noticed there's a con to it where it's so big, then there's so many minions spawning in every other spot, so. This game is a lot about running and gunning, even though I mentioned there's still forcing you stealth and melee. I would say that's more of the beginning. Later in the game, it's more running gun, because bigger map, 3D map, a lot of dudes coming in, so. Again, but the graphics, just amazing, as usual, as Uncharted series. They have not disappointed me at all for Naughty Dog. Good job, Naughty Dog. You did really good. And then for the costs of the game, well, you know, like I mentioned in my previous review, this game was based on the Nathan Drake collection. So I bought it for 20 bucks at the time, but I don't know what it is now. I'm hoping it's still 20 bucks Canadian, but yeah, I would say it's still worth your price because you're getting 3 games in one, including, I believe, the DLC and the skin and mods. That I'm not too sure, but I know for sure you get 3 games, full package. But as I mentioned more about pros about this game, and I did talk about some criticism, but there is some criticism as not every game is perfect, and I'm hoping for Uncharted 4, Naughty Dog has heard these kind of complaints or common complaints that I may have or other has, and maybe they improve it, but at this time, we're just stuck on Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. One of the criticism I noticed is, like I mentioned, there's some glitches. Not often, but okay, so like one time, I threw a grenade as I was hanging on a wall, of the side of the wall, right? And of course, I threw it assuming that you would assume you just throw it over the ledge when you're hiding on the edge of the boat or the building. But the game, I guess, so real that it doesn't do that. It makes you like hit the wall of the wall. So the grenade's actually stuck next to you while you threw it, and you're like, oh. And then, you know, you have those moments where you're like, oh, I effed up, and then boom, instant death kind of thing. So I don't know if this is a glitch or I'm screwing it up, but I just noticed I've been doing that a lot. So I was kind of like, huh, okay. Gunfights, as I mentioned, unfair sometimes where, you know, they really enhanced the big map, which is really good. But I just felt like all the minions were just too broken where everyone has a rocket launcher, everyone has a sniper with lasers, and then everyone has this 3 thick armor layer guy coming in right behind you with an auto shotgun and instantly death. So my goodness, it was a bit hard, but again, maybe I just suck, or this is just, maybe it might be too hard for some people. The third one I've noticed is the snipers of the game. I don't know if there's something wrong with my controller or I couldn't aim, but essentially it's like when you aim, it's like a U shape under, not like a circle and a dot. It's a U shape, and it just kind of zooms in, but not like full zoom, just kind of little zoom. And I'm like, okay, I guess my aim should be right at the middle of this U shape, and if I get the headshot right there, it should work, right? Done it a few times, and the minion doesn't die instantly. They don't even do react to it, so I don't know, I just felt like the sniper was kind of weird in this game. And then, of course, the game developer, Naughty Dog, really enhanced Drake's Deception with most of the characters from the first 2 games and kind of bringing it together. So you're kind of like in a party of 4 or 3. And I don't know why, but the NPC, like, they like to block your way. You're like, all right, I'm going to go up to the staircase. And then, for example, Sully's like right in front of you, and you're like, he's just standing there because he can't move because you're in his way, but I'm in his way. So you're like, you know, you just feeling you're being blocked most of the time, and you're trying to run around. But oh, I guess I forgot to mention when you're being blocked. You know how some games are like you're just running, you still have the running animation to the wall. Okay, so the good thing about this game is that they actually add an animation where Nathan actually interacts with it. So if you make him hit a wall, he's like, ugh, and he like rolls around the wall. As in, realistically, he would actually hit the wall. But back to the criticism. Yeah, there's a bunch of too many people in the party that kind of just stares at you and it kind of blocks your way, and you're just like, move, get out of the way, kind of thing. So minor criticism for that part, but overall, the game is really good. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot, but good game.
So before we close, quick note: the game is still $20. Or sorry, the Nathan Drake collection is $20 Canadian. So most likely different prices will range depending on region. But yeah, in closing, Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception to David is yet another amazing game. The story is filled with in-depth character development on Nathan Drake and Sully, lots and lots of action and suspense, barely any slow moments, so like pacing is great. The gameplay continues to be fantastic even with its new walking across on the edge and diving mechanics, and even more cinematic playable scenes. The graphics continue to improve, and Naughty Dog did a well done job on using its 3D effects to the game. And so David gives its rating of
9 out of 10, baby. It's that good. That good. It's worth your Friday. It is. It is. It is. Like with the I like the diving mechanics and the crossing the edge. It's little things, but it's like cool because it's different, right? So I didn't mention it because there was not a lot about it, but I'm glad that Tim mentioned it. Yes, it's a good game. A lot of little new things, but improved. So 9 out of 10, worth your Friday.
Of course, if you guys have liked the series, or even just like the solo reviews and our videos in general, hit the like button. And as well, hit that subscribe button as we have more content to come with, whether it's solo reviews from David, more solo reviews from me, or just our joint content, our reviews together. And so click that notification forever when we do release these videos. We also have a Facebook and Instagram account where we post teasers or what'll be of the week, or even just like our upcoming shorts that we have just randomly in the spirits of the moment. So if you want to support us, give a like on our page, follow them on Instagram. It'll be put in the link in the description below.
Hello.
And so yeah, that is our review of Uncharted 3. Sorry, our review. David's review of Uncharted 3.
Yes. So good.
David will be reviewing the fourth one very soon, as he's recently, of course, finished the fourth one. And we also watched the movie.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's going to be coming up. Yes.
So,
all right, till next time.
See you guys.
Yeah, hopefully. Bye. See you in the next video.
See you in the next video.